Yeah, hi. This is an opinion, yeah, okay? There's no claims to whether are right or are wrong or any objective reality in this, and however you want to phrase it, yeah. It is an opinion. It's about a song called Shake It Off by an American girl called Taylor Swift, yeah. Apparently she's the bee's knees at the, I don't know if it's in this decade, or, well, maybe, my timing might be a bit off. But she starts off with a sort of an Avril Lavigne type of beat, the cheerleader type thing, and I like that song, that Avril Lavigne song, and I think Girlfriend is also in this lyric as well. Yeah, and then she describes how she goes about the day with nothing in her head. Okay, and then from what I understand, a lot of her stuff is autobiographical. She writes about herself. Yeah. Again, I think, therefore I am. This total runaround is, okay, you won't get it, perhaps, and that's all right. It's because I'm not explaining it that well. For anybody to understand any of what I say now, you've really got to start from the start, because the language, how I use it now, it has a completely different relation, yeah? So, beginning at the beginning and going through. No money, no thing. It's just share whatever you like. But definitely I'm not interested in money. And I'm not that bothered with likes either, or dislikes, obviously, But I'm not interested in that time. I'm just interested in giving somebody a chance to understand what kind of choices you have in life, and how one might, distinguish which are good choices and which are bad. I'm not saying that I know what they are. I just want to maybe just paint a picture of what one situation would be and another situation. There's no imperative from me. The only imperative, from my point of view, is I just need to show the lay of the land. It's A or B. It's very simple, and that's all my only job. And that promise kicked in about 3 years ago, but it's a different type of arrangement then, and I wasn't, it was one night, and all these videos are one night, yeah. Just think about it like that. So please, it's difficult for me to get it out, yeah. Right. She uses the thing that haters going to hate. Yeah. Now, if you're going to say haters going to hate, that's prophecy. I mean, really, I know I come across really, this prophecy type thing, but we've got to understand that we've embedded it in our language, and we consider it acceptable, to be able to make existential claims like, the world is this, the world is that. But I mean, it's all, if you consider it and just take it as appearances, it's a lot easier in life, I promise, because interpersonal relations become different. You don't say something, you are a hater, you are this, or you are that, because R is an existential claim. All men are mortal, and that's a load of bollocks. I know, but it is, because mortality inheres in the term man. It's already there. Can't extract it out and make the statement. The statement's already inside man. All men are mortal. Yeah, that initial. That's called a major premise. Yeah. We talk about major and minor, maybe about four videos down when we speak about music and major and minor chords, yeah, and how that music might be interpreted in a different way. Okay, but this particular, this girlfriend, then she describes how she goes about her day with nothing in her head. Well, we're in Plato land here, so there's not going to be an awful lot in there, and that's fine. But the hater, hate needs a resolution. I mean, it's an emotion. It depends on the nature of that hate, and how you would think. If it's, but I like to treat it as in the soft version at the moment, as just merely emotional charge, yeah, which needs some sort of restitution, or which I prefer is some sort of resolution, yeah, like maybe a harmonic, if you like to think of it in terms of music. But it's definitely not. It's nothing like a non-zero sum game. There's none of that type of stuff, yeah. Okay, so hater is a Platonic. It's a noun. It's a box into which you put all people. And if that's how you see life, in boxes, and people are in that box. And America is very good like this. Impressionistically, you got the school canteens, and the rite of passage movies that went on during the 80s and what have you. And you got the geeks, the haters, the jocks, the beta, and everything's functionalized, rather like Plato's Constitution, the Republic, and it's all functionalized, And the idea there with taking in Platonism is to actually separate kids separate, the children from the parents, and such that the children wouldn't know the parents. But that was part of the game anyway. It's a playbook. There's no question. You just got to go back and read it. So if you want to know how your world's going to go, it's unfolded. None of this is me. It's just what was written is being unfolded as we think. I'm very tight up again. I mean, the frog is up to here, and the water's getting really, really, really hot. I don't know if you understand that type of the boiling frog and what have you. You just turn up the temperature. At what point does the frog realise that the water has changed over a long period of time and it's boiling and we don't know what to do? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, here are Platonic nouns. Yeah, so the thing she says is, she says to you, well, rather than a restitution or a harmonic resolution or whatever, she said, oh no, just shake it off, like it's, some stuff, or, bird crap you got on your dress or your coat or whatever, like shake it off. Come on, right? But then again, this girl has nothing in her head apparently. She says it in her lyric, and then there's the assumed existential prophetic type of statement, your hater's going to hate. We use that in our language now, and it's a bit, it's a bit, right. For any kids trained into, what is, you're appealing to this objective type of arrangement outside of you. Your connectivity to that depends on, depends on how much you have, the degree of nothingness in your head. It's really good. If you have not a lot in your head, join the objective, legal, distributive type of arrangement. Yeah, that's good, and that's all right. But then that means you're nothing in your head. Right. Okay. Here's going to hit. Hitler's going to hit. Yeah, that's that statement I said. Then the thing is, this will be distributed to feed your next generations. This song. Yeah. It's a derivative. It's like a derivative. Like the music kicked off years ago. I mean, this is just it's like a CDO or a synthetic CDO. If you're thinking in terms of The Big Short, yeah, it's just nothing in the song. There's nothing in it, and it'll just be fired through on some sort of distributive system, which we know is the legal machine. You talk about military-industrial complex, but equally you got to come in there and you got to think about a legal complex and a music complex, Because when music changed over, I think it was in the 60s, when the guys who loved the music and got involved in making the records and what have you, and then the next generation comes along, they're all MBAs, ears painted on, and not all the time now, but just don't understand the game, rather like those guys who did the 440 on A, and they don't understand the game, and they turned it into the purpose is money, as distinct from the purpose is music, which is always played over the years, this type of, there's loads of movies and all this stuff, it's all. You have to have the choice, you see. It has to be there for the people to see. It's nothing to do what's there. It's to do with your choice. That's all it is. The same way as Tarantino and all his crazy, really upsetting type of visuals, And most of it a lot of it I see is just pulled out of different movies, It's flipped around a bit, But then you can like that and choose that. Or not, but it's all there for you. It's just choice, yeah. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're getting this. TV at the moment is a distributive system. It's that feeds your psyche. You sit there for hours, and this is what you get. This is what you got. In, rubbish out. But whatever's left in the head, I don't know. Anyway, that's sort of. So basically, on one side she's got all these nouns, and on the other side she's got nothing in her head. Yeah. None of this is making sense to you at all, isn't it? You really need to come through on the videos that I started. I was with a friend of mine in the bar last night, and I got pretty wasted and said some silly things. Yeah, I'm not apologising for it. It just came out. Sometimes it's not me. All right, but she can come do this type of song and get huge accolades. Like this is the man, the zero. There you go. Give yourself a star. Grammys or whatever like that. But you listen to all this stuff, and you've still got the original. You've got Kate Bush still in the room. This is Running Up the Hill. She's the one that did that. And her lyrics mean something. And wait, hold on a minute. These lyrics mean something also. Running Up the Hill. Right? And it's a ass song. Oh, that she sings. Aye. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much. Yeah.